He took a breath and blew himself up. Do not underestimate the opponent. Don't be too confident. If I don't give him a chance, it's like saving a bag. There's no reason to lose to a guy like him. But when I see your eyes, you've also wobbled a little bit. Your face is filled with fear. What is this feeling of tremendous pressure? A moment of silence came in front of him. He had a powerful sword, but he was in time. It's so strong that you have to put your knees on the floor. Here, what the hell is going on? Before I could recover, I found out. When I saw you, I was beaten. Nasal blood spray. Teeth lips mixed. The speed of Chu's ass is terrible now. You're clinically unconscious when I can't get a hit. You are still standing. Confidently say the next. The people on the mountainside. I don't believe what I see. This is a French sword. That boy has defeated the Korean. Who has the power? Ranked second among the disciples of the second generation of Nam only, with a sword after. You think it's too early. If we let you lose like that, this punishment is too easy. Today, in this very place, my ass will leave Cho Tam Nam a stain of disgrace. Can't be erased. As long as Hoa-san and Ton Nam exist, then that disgrace will never go away. You will pay for this mistake until the end of time. Hoa-san gave everything to save the world. Even though we prevented, but the brothers, still determined to sacrifice on the top of 100,000 to stop the ghosts. So you guys are living in the world we sacrificed our lives to protect. That's why the southern trash. You're not only ungrateful, dare to steal tomorrow. Swordsmanship and cheap Hoa paint SAO, even now dare to conspire. Deliberately crush Hoa paint permanently. 2. Every day we try to suppress the fire. To wait until today. You're nothing more than a pent-up exo furnace. Next person out here. Your scream scared the South Vietnamese. Your next opponent is up. He's a little shaky. You said, I'll show you 6. Next. You won eyes and mouth and uttered that position. Lost sword. He trembled even more. The whole body is out of control. You glide gently through like a wind. I turned back dazed. I thought there was nothing, but actually a blow hit him in the left shoulder. I look angry. He screamed, and he looked back. I'm rushing towards you. You're in the position where you did that sword again. This time on your right shoulder. Your power is so overwhelming. He knelt to the ground. A definitive blow to the neck. A little mercy from you. But the first 2, he's been knocked out. In a split second. Chiun is too different. Compared to the swordsmanship that we wield, the world is so different. Even just once. I never thought either. The sword is a powerful martial art. It's like San Nam's sword. Even that sword is so powerful. That's the boy. It's like proving to us. The martial arts of the paint completely do not lose. What is worse than male martial arts? Yugen was surprised to say that brother lost his sword. Don't take your eyes off me. That's the sword. The sword of paint. That we must cultivate and pass on to the next generation. Let's let them open their eyes again. Let's tell them what a painting sword is. China is proud to say, it's horrible. Third-generation disciples of San Nam quickly knocked down by middle butt. There is one more to be judged. The arrogant Chinese continued. One more person to step into the ring. He was also killed by 6 people. 6 people have fallen. The disciples of the South were afraid to think, if we continue like this, we will. He was completely defeated by a third-generation disciple. They started to panic. A scared person says, let's go. The other guy said, I can't. At this time, Kim Long was angry and shouted, it's a disaster. I can't tell you that my body is a disciple of the Southern tribe. I'm afraid of losing my 10-year-old son. You must have forgotten the so-called shame. He stood up and announced that I would go to war. I can't put my eyes up. Look at that arrogant guy. 1 more minute. So stay here and open your eyes and look at me. Take back the honor of Nam Ni. Even though we don't know, now there's a bit of honor left in the South. Or not. Bring me the wooden sword. The other monks said yes. Just put 1 foot in the ring. The horse raised its voice. Stand still. Go up to the sky. The boy answered, yes, my son. He said again, go to war. Try to stop that boy. Even if you lose, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean. And he said, yes, yes. And then he got up the courage to go into the ring. The 4 horses raised their voices and Kim Long followed me. You two go outside. He looked around and asked, I think the other kids won't win. Right. Kim Long didn't reply. Maybe that's right. He can talk again. I think the same as you. That thought of yours is not wrong. That boy is a real monster. That's not to say a little monster. But if you just turn a blind eye now, then later it's going to turn into a real monster. And that monster will stand in our way again. Do you understand what I just said? The disciple replied, bewildered. Yes, elder, that is your word. You talk and think in your heart. If at that age, I have to admit it myself, that boy is very strong. But the elders, do I need to worry to such an extent? That son of a bitch will later block the South SAO. That word is different, said Kim Long. We're not going to be able to beat that bastard. The helicopter said again, Kim Long, you're a genius. But I think the so-called geniuses on this gangland, about a few people. Let's look at it from 4 generations back. Already over 10 people. Maybe it's more than that. I think that, later, I can be the world's first SAO. People who fight for their name. The first man, not a genius like you. They're monsters, that's what this world is about. Only those who ignore common sense. Use your power to break the rules. There are even those who go against natural talent. You can fight a tough fight to win that title. At the top of the floor was the 7th man to be killed. The old man looked up at his buttocks and said, they are such monsters. Kim Long was really angry after those words. Elder. But the promotion code Chen said casually, even if it's a monster. Now it's just a little monster. Even if it's a tiger, it's still a baby tiger. It will be bitten by a dog as usual. Kim Long-ni now understands the problem. The elder's yes was. Kill him. He shows his face as cold as ice. Before its superior talent could reveal itself. Smash it to death. I can still do it now. The boy is a monster. But I can still beat it now. So now I have to kill him. If you can't kill now, even if you live the rest of your life, I don't have a chance to kill. Not if you can't kill it. Then at least cut off his arm. Kim Long, he started to worry. It's not that he's lost his mind. I thought you said, well, it's reasonable. Before he finished speaking, Chen replied, according to reason. I plan to spend my whole life will live in the shadow of that boy Sao. He was thinking hard about something right now. He said the choice is yours, Kim Long. I will take full responsibility for you. I'm just careless. It's not negligence during martial arts. It's also common. Kim Long replied, first, I'm sure of one thing. That I'm not an ordinary person. To live under the shadow of that boy. However, if the existence of that boy, to hinder the glory of the South, there is no need to distinguish tricks or methods. What to do? I saw that my disciples understood. He had a disgusting smile. You're right. When I was busy talking, another person was killed. Middle buttocks still show no signs of fatigue or weakness. You arrogantly stand there and think 8 games. I thought I would win 10 games in a row, but it's not going to be that easy. The Kier boys just sat there and got scared. I can't dare to step up. The last battle, of course, that boy went to war. Although it is a bit regrettable, maybe I have to be satisfied with 9 wins in a row. Are thinking about it. The next person stepped up automatically. An eerie look of confidence. Step in front of middle ass. He said, I know that. It's still too early, so we have to go out and fight the mayor. But we can't stand idly by from a distance. And saw his master being humiliated. My ass is smiling right now. Everyone has the same funny thought. But if it's this guy, it's worth it. He withdrew his words. To hold the sword in front of your chest. And loudly declare, 2nd generation disciple of Sun Nam Lai Sibok. May I have martial arts with Hoa Sun's middle buttocks disciple? The buttocks also responded loudly. The 3rd disciple of Hoa Sun. Middle buttocks accept martial arts words. He looked at the boy in front of him. Even though he was from South Africa. But strangely, he is the only boy that I don't feel hate. If that was the case, let him see if it's in DTO. This is the world that at some point, exclusion will have to be achieved. After the announcement, take a deep breath. He stepped forward, very focused. The internal gas you're constantly emitting. The middle buttock silently watched and thought, if he can take it and fix it, this will be medicine. And if you can't fix it, this thing is poisonous. It all depends on you. He thought, you put air into the sword. The opponent is ready, he shouted. And stomped hard on the floor. Go straight to the enemy. calmly put the sword forward. Said in my heart, what I can show you now. It's only at a rudimentary level. But in the time we live, this is the world of swordsmanship that the South sought. White is right in front of you. He swung his sword. But strangely, the sword was cut. The whole space around him suddenly darkened. The white man asked, why is it so dark? Where is this? Suddenly, a wind came from behind. It makes my back cold. He felt the danger and turned around. What's in front of you? That surprised him. Open mouth. Is a giant middle butt, is brandishing a huge sword towards ejection. Deep in his heart, he thought, my gut tells me that what I see is not reality. But in the end, what the hell is this power gap? It's so depressing. I can't run away. This is not thinking anymore. An invisible sword slashed straight at the boy. Clearly looked normal. Middle butt is just gently swinging the sword, but that swing wasn't normal. Because it's printed a long, deep slash on the floor. Gone. Kim Long blood spray. The two knees no longer feel slumped. Against what's called absolute power. I laughed and said I saw it. The worlds of the human sword merge and withdraw. The boy fell to the ground. The cotton stands still. Take a long breath. He looked to the south thinking, now there's only one name left. My eyes are on that guy. Then arrogantly challenge up here. Kim Long, the final match is here. The 9th match ended. Your ass is showing absolute power. Before the 2nd generation disciples of the South, the old man couldn't he believe his eyes. Aesthetic work Hoa paint can completely crush male cardboard. In a public way, just like today. It's something that's never happened in the history of paint. Since the time of the Enlightenment. Even in the age of tomorrow's swordsman. Hoa Sun is just standing in a higher position. There's never been a public event. It's so big that it's talked about in the world. Just like the present. Since when has the disciple of Hoa Sun? Maybe the main road. Standing in front of the South like that. The guy sitting next to me suddenly called. Chief student. In your eyes, don't say anything. We have to watch that child very closely right now. I think it still has something to show us. Standing outside the ring, Kim Long's mood was extremely unstable. He thought it was strange. Everyday eyes are always on me. Full of expectation, I've spent a lifetime to be recognized and expected by everyone. And in just one session, that bastard changed everything, eyes full of pride, into anxiety and insecurity. Thought, and he spoke. Should I give you a compliment? The middle buttock sighed. It's not a big deal to praise anything. Kim Long asked again, you dare to look down on us? Chu but smirked and laughed disdainfully. Here's the problem. It's not whether I despise you or not. It's because we have no reason to be proud of defeating those weaker than me. Both. Kim Long's anger is getting bigger and bigger. He glared at the enemy and thought that. I didn't like it from the beginning. That fucking expression of indifference, it's like laughing at our martial arts scene. No different than the others. He can speak up. For people like you, you don't have to be humble to do anything. Bluntly speaking, maybe that's your humility. You might even make people crazy. I know you have the right to be proud. Just for the job, you can defeat 9 disciples at once. Second Life of the South. That's enough to admit. You are a rare genius. However, do you know what your greatest misfortune is? That's the thing, you were born in the same time, with Kim Long Ta. The price of unhappiness is, you'll never catch up to me all your life. You'll only see the shadow of my back forever. Because if you choose southern tones instead of painted flowers, then at some point, you will be able to overcome me. My ass looks depressed. You are also confident. Not if it is painted. But if it is the South, there is a possibility. Why do you think so? Kim Long replied, it's not so obvious. The mountain is trapped in the past. The disciples, you're just looking at the martial arts of the past and try to recreate the glory of the old days. Where is that possible? South Africa is different. We're moving forward without regretting the past. Southern tribes will create stronger martial arts. We're going to build a stronger system. And we'll win a brighter future. That's why paint. You'll never be able to catch up to the South. One more time. The buttocks, after listening, think. Faith in the school. Strength and reputation behind that. He's excellent at that. I want to tell my brothers. Follow his example and learn. Of course, it's just in the future case that Bastard said. It's not the future, made up of, from stealing the martial arts of the paint flower. Not if it is painted. But if it is the South, there is a possibility. Why do you think so? Kim Long replied, it's not so obvious. The mountain is trapped in the past. Your disciples, just looking at the martial arts of the past, and try to recreate the glory of the old days. Where is that possible? A few minutes ago, I saved Cho Nam a single seed. I don't know if the seed can grow or not. But that's all the compassion we can do. You are so hungry for the sword. Then try to get it properly. Because I will show you so clearly. I can't forget this whole life. What are you bastards going to take? From this moment on, what we're going to do is not the middle. The third disciple of Hoa Sun. It is our duty as the future. Swordplay middle butt. He held the sword in his hand and said, then I have to give the future a gift. A gift that lasts a lifetime. You can't forget either. Outside the ring, people are watching in silence. Then a voice boomed out of the way. I have to watch this match. Is the White Angel urge? Even if you are injured, but he's still trying to get to his seat. North, he and the others ran to him and asked, Brother Monk, are you feeling better? He still didn't say anything. Then suddenly on my knees, I fell to the ground thinking, we must definitely watch this match. As soon as you open your eyes, I heard the news. Middle butt won 9 matches in a row. I heard the news and was good. Lie quietly in bed. Then certainly not the right action of the great disciple. White death. Even if we break flesh and bones, then we have to come here. Cheer for that middle-ass kid. You have to win. The buttocks couldn't utter a word because they were so exhausted. But he's putting a lot of faith in. Who's standing on the floor? There was silence in the ring for a long time. Both of you have just started. No one has hit yet. Kim Long is now turning his toes. Here the battle has begun. The viewer is very surprised. It's gone. Since when are these two no longer in the ring? They both appeared and threw swords at each other. The VA touch was terrible. There's a big wind blowing around. The two people after the VA hit are all far away. The ass landed. So is Kim Long. But then it comes again. And keeps slashing at each other. It really makes the viewer unable to take their eyes off. Two guys swinging their swords at a very fast speed. I can only hear the noise. I couldn't see what the two of them were doing. The middle buttocks are extremely calm and constantly slashing. Kim Long just cut. Just shouted loudly. There's another VA sword. And then the two of them jumped back. The Yogin couldn't believe his eyes, thinking quickly. So fast that. It's just eye tracking. It's too much for me. What I'm witnessing. It really makes me unbelievable that it's happening. They're both constantly fighting at a speed that's hard to see. They're both on the floor at the same time. When stopped on the middle stitch, Kim Long has just launched the snow flower 12 hours. Chinese cotton is difficult to understand is doing. Where did the white flowers fall from? Kim Long shouted out the snow. Innumerable sword paths are deployed, aimed straight at the middle of the butt. You have to back away. There are some tears in your clothes. You get down and think the same. The sword is as beautiful as living and breathing. And what's hidden inside that beauty? It's a very sharp blow. Appearance on the outside was actually copied perfectly by SAO. To be precise, it's the 24 hours of tomorrow. Swordplay. Other, it was a snowy day 12 hours ago. Bacchus theory has been developed. If it's someone else, there must be 7 gods. I am in front of this great sword. 0-1 excess movement. Even the power it emits. It's so deep and so subtle that we have to appreciate it. While you're thinking, he performed the trick again. And slashing constantly towards the middle of the buttocks. The boy did not dodge the blow and calmly observed the whole sword. The snow flowed and Kim Long's body screamed again. Each white flower touches every part of the body. In the ass, where the VA touches, all form small slashes. But you said nothing and did nothing. You feel every blow. After a while, you jump away. Kim Long also stopped. He despises you speaking out loud. If you run away like this, how can you beat me? There was a time. Flower paint. You're known throughout the world for your sword. It's like a field flower. It's just the past. Now to your symbol. Will also be buried in the new sword of the South. The world will remember the snow, 12 consciousness of the South, and forget the sword of the painting. The reason the previous generation man created this sword. Let the world know that, no matter in any form, the sword of the South will also be superior to the sword of paint. Honestly, I don't think it's that meaningful. Because prove yourself superior to a failed faction. It doesn't make any sense. He pointed his sword at the enemy, however. This French sword becomes something that can eradicate the paint. Of course, it's meaningful. Come here, my hand. It will end your last struggle. After listening to Kim Long, Maya sighed. With the sword dance, it's like your singing class. He heard that and asked me to sing the song. You dare to compare my sword with the performers in the song. Smiling, don't get me wrong. I don't mean to despise you. What I despise is actually the sword you use. Or in other words, I despise the South, the sect that made that kind of sword. But it seems that you are the one who is most influenced by the South. You're son of a bitch. I'm sure Kim Long will scream again. But the middle buttocks Chen said, I want to ask you something. Inside that sword, what does it contain after all? Doesn't he know what you mean by asking? The Chinese replied, that's enough. What did you just call that? The snow is 12 hours, right? Imitating the sword is the same as painting. But with that, it's still missing a lot. Because the flowers sword paint faster, much sharper, and much more wrong. He said you were too strong. I know no matter what I try to say, it doesn't work for you. Don't waste any more time. You're son of a bitch today. You will die under this sword. His inner power burst out. He's probably preparing to perform his final move. Kim Long Jiang wide leg. Where did the flowers fall from on the shelf? Kim Long swung the sword net, creating a long lightning line. He snared the snow flower as sharp as a knife. Will stain the sky white. Will even hide the sun. The boy's name is Kier. Get rid of your illusions and illusions. I won't let you run away. Even if it's just one step. Former City Snow Hoa 12 Final. The snow is full. Kim Long creates a snowy storm. With extremely fast rotational speeds, he is approaching the opponent in front of him. People out there staring at themselves and not believing in themselves. That guy's martial arts was way beyond his expectations. A world I can't get over right now. Hoa-san disciples are worried about Trung, but they kind of feel it. It's like the morning flower blossoming from the air sword. However, there is something Kang. It is different from the flower that Trung but painted. It's a new experience again. The middle of my ass watched as it turned out to be those spooky bastards, when faced with 24 hours of magic, would feel like this SAO. But this is just the outer shell. It doesn't contain any intimidation at all, or any feeling of oppression. Suddenly discovered the position. He remembered the 7 swords of Hoa-san. It's called the 7 swords. It can't be that. That sword hasn't been properly cultivated yet. You can't do that, Zhang. As 7 tomorrow sword. Too weak to deal with swordsmanship of unknown origin. Of the South. You guessed the opponent's head, said furiously. You scum, you think there's only tomorrow. It makes flowers bloom. The 12 hours of snow you boys are proud of. Not through, it's just something that imitates the future flower swordsmanship. After all, it's just the outer shell, nothing more. Because it's not just tomorrow. It can make flowers bloom. It doesn't matter what the sword is. Because it only needs to be the sword of the painting flower. Then surely the flowers of tomorrow will bloom. Middle buttocks followed by tomorrow's blow. Is the pole of 7 apricot swords. Not in the future. Only bloom in times of dense forest. That tomorrow's flowers could even bloom on a tree. Tomorrow standing alone on a steep cliff. Then for sure. Just trees that aren't bent by any wind. Can bloom flowers. The middle buttocks threw a sword in the middle of the opponent. The shadow of the morning flower is clearly visible. Kim Long gritted her teeth. Tomorrow I have heard. Tomorrow's flowers will never bloom in the painted flowers again. So everyone believes that. The mountain will not be revived. But at this hour, the future flower seems to have disappeared in Hua Sun. It's blooming before my eyes. Sao. The pink and snowy wings of both. Against each other. Will Kim Long win? The answer is no. His snowflakes haven't even touched yet. Tomorrow is broken. My snow is melting. Your hands are about to drop, you say. Because it's all an illusion. You hit. I want to end this final battle. Kim Long was surprised that this attack was hard to stop. But no, he's faster than most people think. He turned Ra into a 7-pronged sword. My Hoa bitch may have successfully defended. No doubt about the middle S. Quickly pierced through that flanged flower shield. He screamed loudly. My perfect snow has been broken. How to do it? Snow Flower 12 consciousness has been executed so perfectly. We have refined this knowledge so perfectly that no one can deny it. It can't be 12 hours of snow. It is proof that the sword of the southern tribe was superior to several. The world compared to tomorrow. Swordsmanship is considered as the relic of money. Paint 100 years ago. It is also a sword, contains the essence of the southern swordsmanship. But what the hell is going on? In the ass speak softly. You really think that? Hoa Sun's sword, just looking for the shape of tomorrow's flowers. It's not that simple. All religions exist in this world. It's like an image of nature, and can consider their highest goal is to use your own flesh to realize. Tao. Martial arts is considered the beginning of the Tai Chi. It's considered the beginning of the sun. Inactivity is considered to be the beginning of the 5. The only thing that's painted is tomorrow's flowers. This is what makes paint different from other religions. It can be said that paint is a very strong art. I'm fascinated by beautiful and beautiful things. But it really is. Swinging the sword and swinging the sword again. The flowers bloom and then bloom again. Spend my whole life for the sword of Hoa Sun. To the end. After climbing to a position where no AI can reach. I just realized one thing. That's what the flowering sword reproduces. It's not tomorrow. Swordsmanship Hoa paint does not simulate Hoa tomorrow, but it is the Hoa Sun sword that makes the flower bloom tomorrow. Middle buttocks, closed eyes. Feel the energy surge in your body. It's not tomorrow. It's not a flower. It's about flowers. We're just repainting. Tomorrow's flowers are blooming on the flower paint only. If there is a new life, can bloom at the tip of this sword. It doesn't matter what flower it is. It doesn't have to be tomorrow. It doesn't have to be 24 hours. Swordsmanship flower. Even at the tip of the sword of 7 tomorrow, the flower will bloom tomorrow. That's the origin of the sword. That's what those who carry the name Hoa Sun must be engraved in the heart. But those who do not recognize that truth, but only attracted by the beautiful and vibrant, will only sink forever into that glittering swamp. That's it. Just like the current Kim Long. Keep your eyes closed and look closely. See how your sword will fall. You will have forever engraved the image of Sun's sword. Nam has been hit by my flaming and red sword. Cut off in this ring. Every time I raise my sword, That scene will reappear in your mind.